because when you said to Ru,
You forgot, Tammie. You forgot you're fabulous. Don't blame me for that. That's your responsibility.
Use your mouth.
Right.
that was one of the first times, maybe the only time I've really seen RuPaul properly like face crack. And it was very interesting.
And then I also got some old message me, oh, how dare you talk to RuPaul like that? Shame on you. Oh, well, go yourself. You know? But you're going to sit here and let somebody, I don't care who RuPaul is and what RuPaul's done. Not going to talk to me like that. Her name. If the whole world ends tomorrow, we'll say human was to blame. You got to get up and fight. That's right, because it may not be later. If we don't do something right now, we won't be walking children in nature. That's right. You know, how can you talk to us like this? You have Santino up here saying these rude things to us. Who the hell is he anyways? In fact, we got him fired is what happens.
Hello everyone and welcome back for some more freshly brewed drag tea. Today I have with me a drag race icon who charmed us with her quirky personality and lovable humour when she competed on season 1 and All Stars 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm super excited for you all to get to know her better and learn more about her amazing journey in drag. We'll of course be talking all things Drag Race, and I'll be asking some of the great questions you all sent in. Please join me in welcoming the queen of walking children in nature herself and the star of The Dish, the amazing Tammie Brown.
Hola, hello. That's hello in Spanish. Hola, ¿qué tal? Hi.
Hola. So lovely to have you. My audience is so excited to hear from you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to welcome your audience.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I know we were talking before we started, so you're currently in Florida.
Correct.
So I hope you're getting some lovely sun, if there is any.
Well, it's been rainy these past 2 days.
Well, I must say, I'm in London, and it's sunny, but it's always cold and raining here. So I'm kind of jealous that you're in sunny, or at least warm Florida.
It's sunny today in London?
It's sunny, but cold.
Okay. At least y'all getting some sun.
That's true.
That's the only one thing I don't like about England. It's so gloomy a lot. Overcast all the time. Because I do love England. I love Ireland.
True. So, I think we'll all agree that we would love some more sun, but also some more sunny personality like Tammie Brown in our lives.
Well, I don't know what's going on with your clubs, club kids and all those other people that bring, what is this new RuPaul's Drag Race. They had their drag con, and then they had Teletubby, someone Teletubbying with the Teletubbies, someone lip syncing into one of RuPaul's songs. And I said, shame on you, RuPaul. Shame on you, World of Wonder. Why didn't you have me come on Teletubbies teleport me to London to do drag con? You emphasize. That's for Madam the Puppet, which I became friends with Madam the Puppet, by the way. The one Raja did.
Yeah. Waylon Flowers and Madam. Yeah.
Yes, I'm friends with Madam. Who would have thought? I became friends with Madam actually. In Provincetown.
I can kind of see that. You've got quite similar personalities.
Oh, she's wicked. She told me about how she was with Pinocchio, you know. She kept getting that little f***er to lie so his nose would grow.
Well, I mean, my audience was very excited. When I announced that I was interviewing you, I had the most amount of questions I've ever had. So they were very, very excited to hear from you.
Isn't that interesting? Because I always have the most, like, whenever people do interviews and stuff with me, it seems to be like their biggest show or the most questions that they get asked is about me. But I can't get arrested, as they say. Bitter? Yeah.
Obviously, you made an impact. So I think, first of all, I'd love to sort of hear a little bit about, obviously, I think we know you best from Drag Race and also now The Dish, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I was wondering if you could sort of take us back in time a little bit and tell us maybe a bit about how Tammie Brown, the character, the drag, all came about.
Time machine. If I had a time machine. That's actually my new single that's coming out for my show this year. Time machine. But it's just something natural that always evolved and something that I always wanted to do as a child. Of course, I wanted to be a witch as a kid. But you know, wicked, the word wicked comes from witch comes from the word wicked, and Wiccan from the word Wiccan. We did the study the other night too, and I'm just right on time with the devil and all that jazz. It's just something natural for me, organically just manifested, and I was able to do that, of course, in high school and through high school, and then carry it on in college, and then through college, graduated from college, then pursuing the career after I graduated. And I was also part of one of those for-profit schools where my degree is no longer accredited, and I'm stuck with paying this college loan that we have a major problem here in the United States of the Americas.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting story to hear about, because I think one of the interesting things about you was, obviously, so you were on your first season that you were on was obviously the first season, was season 1 of Drag Race.
Yes.
And I think you're one of a very few people, maybe the only one really, that you are kind of a very high concept character. And I think you were just so fascinating, because I guess people maybe would be interested to hear where you out of drag and you in drag, like, are they two different people or are they the same person?
I mean, it's the same person. Because I'm a highly stylish person. I've always been highly stylish. I always want to be an entertainer, but I wanted to fight to do it in drag. I wanted to do the drag career. That's what I set out to do. I wanted to, not impersonate, but, dress up in women's clothes and be a woman, so to speak, as a performer. And I was inspired, of course, we all know, by Tina Turner. And the whole career was patterned, my career as an entertainer was patterned by the likes of Tina Turner and how she managed her career. The Ike and Tina Turner Review, I would like to say that I went to a non-accredited degree in the school of Ike and Tina Turner. Credit to the godfather of rock and roll, actually, which is Ike Turner. And he has such a bad rap because of his lifestyle and being bipolar and whatnot. But I do have a lot of respect for him and the schooling that they did and everything. But that's what my dream was. My career is patterned the way, and now it seems to be manifesting to where now I'm performing that way. Like, I get up and do my songs. I have my own trajectory, my own songs. I have a catalog of music. So now I get up and do those, and it keeps advancing, getting better and better, so to speak. Not that the other stuff was bad, but it keeps growing and growing. Now I'm working with Markaholic, and I was working with Pierce Rowley, and it keeps growing. So it's this manifestation of what I wanted to do, and my own character, my own way, organically. And I am the character. There was no separation. I was going to be Glenn Schubert. It sounds very Hollywood. And then I had a derivative of Glenn Schubert, like from What She Gets, What You See, the Tina Turner song. So I created GS as It Is. And that was going to be my slogan for my label. But now it's Tammie Brown, because I was forced into the drag name. And I want people, when they address me on the street, they can call me Mr. Brown if they like. But I'm very adamant, call me Tammie Brown. I don't want you to call me other than Tammie Brown, people, because I was forced into the name. Well, then that's what you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
And the character is not outside of me. It's always what I wanted to be, who I want to be, see myself as an entertainer. So that's what I put out there,
So where does the name Tammie Brown come from then? Like, can you explain that part? Like the
Tammie Brown happened back in high school on the way to a nightclub one evening, and we were doing in I don't know if back in England or whatever, they had 3 ways where you can call somebody or somebody else can call from one party to the other. So, and then like you can have your friend, for example, it said Bob Brown, and Bob Brown called Joseph's phone. And then it said Bob Brown, and Joseph's like, oh, why does it say Bob Brown? And I automatically said Tammie. Well, I can change the caller ID to say Tammie Brown. So that night I went to the nightclub and said my drag name is Tammie Brown. But I was thinking, Bob Brown, what an ugly name for this friend of mine's mom, not realizing that was, I guess, concrete thinking. It was her stepfather's name.
Right, I see. Well, that's an interesting way to get your drag name, I guess.
That's how it happened, because it was going to be Glenn Schubert. And they were like, oh, because it sounds very Hollywood, But no, they said no. And that's with one N as well. Like Tammie Brown's with an IE, not a Y. Tammy Wynette, she is dead, and she did die at the age of 55.
Yes, well, I definitely remember it's Tammy with an IE, because you sort of said it in your entrance on season 1.
Thank you. Hi there. My name is Tammie Brown with an IE.
One thing I actually want, so speaking of season 1, one thing I think is really fascinating is that you were on the first season of Drag Race, like the original season. so you all kind of where it all started off. I was wondering if you could kind of tell us a bit about how you got involved in the audition process for the show, and was it pitched to you in a different way? Because we've heard stories that apparently Drag Race originally was quite a different concept to the show that it actually is.
Mm-hmm. So Drag Race, we were doing auditions. There was auditions, and in fact, I was on the top 20 of the sought out people for this for Drag Race. I was on the top 20. If you go back and look who the top 20 was, I was there. And Nina Flowers was in there as well in the top. She was like in the top. But Nina Flowers actually came and told me, she's like, don't forget, Tammie, you were in the top 20. You were the top 20. I think I actually came in 20 or whatever, but I was in the top. And of all the queens they wanted, and that finally got in there. And which was a big thing because it was a huge, like, everybody was auditioning for this show. And then I lived in LA at the time, and who was the queen, actually came up to me finally and presented herself and said, I'm casting for Dorano Fierce. Casting is where, and it's in the same building World of Wonders in actually now, but Dorano Fierce did the casting, and she came to me and asked me to sign up for this. And I said, okay, sure. So I gave a week, and then I called up, and then I went into the audition. Originally, they wanted to have an assistant. You would have an assistant with you, which made perfect sense. And Gabriel Gonzalez was going to go in and be my assistant at the time. He's dead now. He died. Left a good-looking corpse, but I just want to say hi to Gabriel. Died very young. But anyhow, but he went in with me to do my auditions. But we were supposed to have an assistant. And I didn't know really what was going to, I thought it was going to be like, oh, I'm in LA. I have my car, Jimmy the Jeep, honk, honk, beep, beep. I'll get with the other girls. We will have a kiki. We'll drive around and get what supplies and whatnot. I thought it was going to be this kind of a reality show like that. I didn't know that it was going to be this putting us against each other and stuff like that. I didn't know it was that. I thought it was going to be this kind of, free for all fun reality show,
That I've heard the story about that. A few people have said that it was about you were going to bring an assistant with you, and you could. So a lot of people were saying that it kind of messed some people up because they kind of came thinking they were going to have an assistant to help with design and everything. And then obviously in the first episode, you had to make your own garment, and some people couldn't sew or whatever. So that was quite a difficult challenge.
Well, whatever. I mean, the reality queens do the things themselves, but in certain situations, but they do know that you do have help. You always have someone helping you, In reality, there is helpers behind the scenes helping usually. But whatever, they did what they did. It is what it is.
Yeah, and so I would love to hear a little bit about what was it like filming season 1 then? Because I imagine, because obviously you were there for 2 episodes, which is kind of crazy in itself that you have become such a famous like queen.
Actually,
from the show. Yes, yeah, the reunion as well.
And there's the infamous reunion, watch your mouth. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask about that.
Now I say emphasize, but watch your mouth, right? But I wasn't expecting. I was on both shows. I was on season 1 and then season 1 All Stars, and I was actually on the show twice, 2 times, and then also the most popular from the show in a sense. You know what I mean? And the most outstanding catchphrases and lines is just like Betty Davis. What a dump! You know what I mean? It never goes away now. Hashtag tears in the rain, can't feel no pain,
Tears in the rain, can't feel the pain.
But it was awful experience, to be honest with you, because I've worked in Hollywood. I've already been acting. I've been in commercials. I've been in music videos, run the gamut. And in professional situations, we're catered and this and that, and they bring the food truck and stuff. This, for example, wasn't like that. They had World of Wonder had their own private little area where they had their catered stuff, but they gave us bags of chips and junk crisps, so to speak, bunch of junks,
Yeah, I imagine it's very different to how it is today. As you sort of mentioned, so yeah, you were on season 1 and All Stars 1, and you were there both seasons. You were there for 2 episodes, and there's a fun fact that you may have seen that I posted on my Instagram, that you are the only contestant, I believe, that has the exact same track record on both seasons. So you were safe episode 1 and then eliminated episode 2, and that happened both times. I think you're the only queen that's happened to.
Correct. And I don't think I should have been eliminated on on either one. They cheated. And the lack of better words, I mean, they cheated. They cheated. I mean, because Akasha should have been kept, but I'm sure should have been fired or let go, eliminated. And no tea, no shade. I don't have a problem with Akasha, whatever. It's a TV show, whatever. She decided to pick to be the villain, and they wanted to keep some extra drama, apparently. Whatever. I guess they wanted drama over best catchphrases. And then the same thing had happened. I beat the pants off of Latrice Royale with that lip sync, whatever. But it is what it is.
Yeah, of course. So as I was saying earlier, one of the things that I thought is so fascinating about you is that you have become like such an icon and such a memorable person, given that you were on effectively 4 and 5 episodes, if we count the reunion.
I mean,
so memorable.
And I have 3 emojis on Instagram. Do you?
No. What emojis do you have then? What's
Well, there's the one with the chicken. There's the one also with the chicken, and then there's another one that was just recently made for a game where my eyes are going this way and that way. And there's the chicken, that one, and the other one. What's the other one? They're all in blonde hair. So, anyways.
Well, one of the things, so I'd love to hear a little bit more, sort of delve a little bit deeper into actually your run on the show and what it was like. So I'm sure people will be very fascinated. So let's go to season 1 first. What was it like then? Because so you were safe for the first episode, as we said, but then the second episode was the girl group challenge, and you were talking about you had to lip sync against Akasha, and you didn't lip sync you didn't actually say the words because you said you didn't want to, and I was wondering if you could talk about that. Break the Dawn. Yeah, it wasn't a bop. It wasn't anything special, that song, personally. And I choreographed. They gave us a CD before we went in. At the time, they even gave us a CD, but we had a list of music, and I had choreographed to maybe some Beyonce songs, and there was some Britney Spears songs. I mean, I did all my choreography. It's not my cup of tea, this music, but I did what I did the dance, and I did what I was supposed to do those. But they just knocked us in within 24 hours to learn this brand new song, Break the Dawn. And I didn't like the song. And poor thing, she's sitting up there crying, the young lady. But, that happens. You don't like everything. You don't have to like everything. In reality, you don't go up there and do things you don't want to do, especially as an artist. Yeah. And as maybe a bonus, it made for good television that you didn't do it, and that maybe that's why it helped to make you memorable. Mm-hmm. Well, I just stand up for what I believe. I'm toot my own horn, Well, I think that's why people love you. It's true. So many freaks out there are like, "Oh, we just love you, Tammie. Thank you for letting us get freakalicious. You really inspire us to just be our weird selves." I never expected weird. I know I'm crazy because crazy sticks to me like ribs. That's fine.
In the 7th grade, they said, "You're crazy." I said, "Okay, I like that. Crazy sticks to me." Like ribs.
I have to actually pray that I'm done with crazy people because I have too much around me. Crazy enough. And I'm eccentric. That's fine, but weird, that's fine. Or queer, that word is not for me. But whatever works. No, that's. I think you were so quirky and so fun on the show, and whether you want to call it weird or whatever, we just loved you on the show. You were so fun. One of the things I think a lot of the subscribers want to know was obviously, your iconic catchphrases. So because when I first watched season 1, because I got into Drag Race a little bit later, when I got to the reunion. Mm-hmm. Your interactions with RuPaul, specifically when the walking children in nature, and when you basically yelled at RuPaul.
Not my responsibility to make you feel good all the time.
Yes, you both call me losers, and I don't see you out there walking children in nature.
It was one of the moments I genuinely my jaw was because it was so fun. It was such great TV. So I was wondering what that was like filming that.
It was just a tense moment, and I get upset. I get upset for the other ones. I get upset for myself. I'll stand up for people in a group, and usually if someone's getting kind of bullied or whatever, it starts to irritate me. I get irritated for them. I don't know. I just get angry and get irritated for them, and get like a bulldog and ready to attack. And then it was how can you talk to us like this? You have Santino up here saying these rude things to us. Who the hell is he anyways? In fact, we got him fired is what happened. The popularity we were really talking amongst us, he was threatened by us and we got him fired eventually 3 years later, right? I think he got fired or let go from the show. But it was awful. It was like, how dare you talk to us like this? You're up there, you get your makeup done, it's being done for you. You have all your looks done for you. We're over here competing. You have a water hose in our face and whatnot, which was a genius moment for me. And my makeup didn't bust, which was amazing. But, I did a great job on that, not busting, but I was really surprised. But all that, and then to be up there sitting and judging us, it's like, really, Ru? Come on. Mama Ru, frack you later.
Well, yeah, because I think you're probably one of the only people I can think of that's really stood up to RuPaul and actually kind of said something back. And I think that's why you've become an iconic person from Drag Race, because you were unafraid to speak up, stand up for the other queens and yourself. And that moment has sort of obviously gone viral in Drag Race world.
And then also to, I think didn't Pearl stand up eventually?
So there's something on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the show, she kind of said there was that whole thing about, do I have something on my face? But not in, I think it wasn't quite in the same way. Because when you said to Ru, like, watch your mouth.
You forgot, Tammie. You forgot you're fabulous. Don't blame me for that. That's your responsibility.
Use your mouth.
Right.
That was one of the first times, maybe the only time I've really seen RuPaul properly like face crack. And it was very interesting.
And then I also got some old message me, oh, how dare you talk to RuPaul like that? Shame on you. Oh, well, go yourself. But you're going to sit here and let somebody, I don't care who RuPaul is and what RuPaul's done. Not going to talk to me like that.
It was great. No, it was a great moment. And I thought it was really, I think it probably was, that's helped to your career, at least on Drag Race, to people to remember you because you are the person that stood up to RuPaul. With obviously one of the iconic lines was walking children in nature. So I was just wondering if you could sort of explain what exactly that meant.
Well, I look around this crazy world and this is what I see. All the plants and animals, they're screaming up at me. They say, Tammie, won't you spread the word and say this in our name? If the whole world ends tomorrow, we'll say human was to blame. You got to get up and fight. That's right, because it may not be later. If we don't do something right now, we won't be walking children in nature. That's right. And there's a video for that out there on the video for Walking Children in Nature, and it's off the album Hot Skunks. But I volunteered. I volunteer a lot, and I've always, as a docent in different areas in LA and walking children, not grooming kids, but helping kids learn about nature. They come from the concrete jungle. I take them out to a walk and show them the indigenous culture that we have in Los Angeles, real American history, and show them birds and different plants, flora and fauna. And we take a hike. And then also there was another line that was cut out too, was taking care of old ladies, because I love older people, and I'm always with older people. I like their knowledge. I like to hear their ease with life and the way they look at life. And I personally can't wait till I'm older. I'm living to be 60, to be honest with you, at least 90, 96. That's my goal. And I just can't wait, because then I'll die and it'll be all over. And hopefully I'll go to a black hole in the sky, because I'm done with this planet.
That's a very interesting way of looking at it.
Well, I mean, this place is an awful place. I mean, I love the planet, but we as humans ruin it. And if it's going to be constantly this cycle of ups and downs and unfair to everyone, I'm just done with it. And the cruelty to animals and cruelty to, and the emotions we have to constantly be going through to work through. Oh, well, I'm done. Bah humbug, as they say. Yeah.
Well, that's fair enough. So you talked about sort of stuff. Was there anything else that was cut out of the season 1 reunion? Was there any other iconic stuff or interesting stuff that you wish they had kept in?
No, that was it. I just didn't understand that, But I have a lot of older friends. They sometimes harp on this now. Oh, you talk about the elder. Well, who the cares you're old? It's not a big deal. I'm still hanging out with you. still push your wheelchair, drag you along. Just don't cling on to me, honey. I don't like Klingons.
That's fair enough.
You know, I guess, or some people try to live vicariously through you sometimes. It's like, come on, what are you doing?
Well,
or get involved in your dates.
I think a lot of people probably they are sort of attracted to you and your personality because you are just so interesting and so quirky and so like naturally funny and charismatic. And I think that was maybe one of the reasons, probably the reason why you were on All Stars 1, because even though you were only on 2-3 episodes of season 1, you made such a mark and you were so funny and you showed that you obviously had more to give. So I was just wondering, when you got the call for for All Stars 1, what was that like?
Well, you know, I was having dreams before All Stars 1. I had 2 dreams that I was with Chanel, and that I was working with Chanel on a TV show, actually. So that was very interesting. So, okay, universe, I guess saying something that I'm going to be on there. But I was like, okay, let's do it. That's fine by me. You know, where's the secret location? I'll meet you there.
And what were so one of the big things about All Stars 1 that I thought was it was a bit odd was the teams being put in pairs. And obviously you were with Nina Flowers.
Correct.
Who's also amazing and very, very talented. What was that like then in terms of what did you feel about being in teams?
You know, I was happy to be in a team with Nina because Nina and I picked each other right off the bat. They made it seem like I picked each other right off the bat, which is pretty cool, you know. So I was happy to work with her. You know, I think they came down hard because she picked a different artist, La Lupe, to perform La Lupe, and everybody should look up La Lupe. She's a lot of fun. Boricua, Puerto Rican, which is the island the United States of America owns, by the way. We own that island. I'm very political, you know. I don't know if you know that. I focus on what's going politically. But yeah, I was happy to work with her, and I think they could have been a lot easier on us, but that's what they like to do. But, you know, it made for good TV, and I guess I stole that show.
You really did. I mean, one of the bits you kind of mentioned it at the beginning. So the Untucked episode where you said the iconic line of Teletubby, teleport us to Mars. Well, come on, Teletubby.
Well, you already did this, girl. Oh, well, come on, Teletubby. Teleport us to Mars. What the
I was just wondering if you could, so where did that come from? Because on the show, at least, it made it look like it was a bit random, like it came out of nowhere. So I was just wondering what prompted you to say that to Manila.
Well, because Manila was dressed as a Teletubby. Her and their look was Teletubbies. Her and Latrice were Teletubbies. So I figured, you know, well, come on, Teletubbies, teleport us. You know what? I was trying to deflate the situation or distract from the situation, of course. And, you know, she was instigating the situation. We were bullying, of course, what's her name?
Mimi?
Mimi. She was being bullied and picked on. And then it was like, you know, why are we doing this? And they were instigating it, the Untucked people and yada, yada, yada. And it kept change her costume, change it around. She was making a fool of herself and they were being assholes. And I was like, well, let me just try to do, you know, I wasn't the only one doing that. It was also, the deflecting was also, who was it? It was there with me, Boricua. She was also trying to deflate the situation was, oh gosh, who was on there with me? Who was it? It was,
do you mean like Alexis Mateo and Yara Sofia?
Yara was also with me, and she was also really working on deflecting the situation. And we were both talking to the camera because on our previous seasons, if you talk to the cameras, they wouldn't show that on the TV. They wouldn't show that. They would tell us, oh, there's no point. Because on season 1, I was like angry and I would say things, you know, like, and they're like, well, it doesn't matter what you're saying right now, Tammie, because we can't show this anyways. You're talking to the camera, you know, blah, blah. So we knew that coming in that we could do that. So we were trying to manipulate, but they had already one up on us already. They were already switching things around, cutting and everything. They knew how to do that already. For example, I said, your father Marlene Dietrich. They turned that around to say my father somehow.
Let me tell you what. My father Marlene Dietrich.
Right. Yeah, because I thought that Untucked on, or well, just All Stars 1 in general was fascinating to me. It was so, I think it's so different to Drag Race now, but it was so iconic and there were so many like arguments and it was kind of crazy. I was just wondering what was it actually like filming that? You talked a bit about maybe there was some shady production going on. Sort of, did you see anything or were you told to say anything or how did that kind of situation come about?
Oh, I was always said they were always trying to instigate something with me, try to get me to say something bad about this one or that one. I don't care, what you're wearing or what they're doing. I'm staying in my lane. I care about what I'm doing, I don't have to worry about what's going on in your atmosphere. This is mine. So they would try to, and they would have me in this room. And there were some producers that I was friends with. So they'd be like, oh, we're going to switch Eric in here to talk to Tammie. So what I do is I just get in there and I start talking about things and talk about how the car, and I just love riding in my car. And I love going to Laurel Canyon. I drive around Laurel Canyon. Sometimes I make wheelie pop wheelies and just da-da-da. And one time I just ran my mouth so much, they switched people out and I got one of the people to fall asleep. Because they try to instigate stuff. I don't, I'm not going to sit here. And that's, I think, one of the reasons they didn't keep me on the show, because they want me to talk about people, and I'm not going to do that. What do I have to do that? That's not what I'm here to do. I'm going to stay in my lane. You do you, I do me, No,
you were very interesting. And it was, I think the reason why people liked you on the show both times was because you were just so unfiltered, but you were being yourself. And I kind of felt like the judges maybe tried to kind of paint this picture that you were this high concept character, implying as though you are putting on an act, like that's not your real personality. But right. I think that it actually kind of is. Like, that's why I think people like you, because you were being so genuine.
Yeah, of course, that's all you have to be, is genuine. And I'm here to make good TV. I'm here to act. I came to Hollywood to act and be an acting drag queen and a performing drag queen. And that's why I moved to Hollywood for. That's what I did. And I've been successful at it, And why am I going to fake it? It's a reality show. You know what I mean?
No, it's true. And one of the other moments from All Stars 1 that I think is very memorable was, and again, it similar to when you called RuPaul out on All Stars 1, you kind of called Michelle Visage out, and you made that comment about the line of makeup on her neck.
Associate's degree in fashion. I do know these things.
I'm being read right in front of my eyes.
Not being read. If I was going to read, I can talk about that line on someone's neck.
So I was just wondering, when you said that, I mean, obviously it was really like funny and it kind of gagged Michelle, but were you worried that you were going to get eliminated, or you would kind of maybe caused problems for yourself in the competition because you were saying things like that?
No, I wasn't worried. A lot of the girls would be like, oh, you don't talk like that, because they come from the pageantry background and stuff, and how you're supposed to talk from being in a pageant. I wasn't worried about that. This isn't a pageant. This isn't, I'm not running for Miss America or any of this kind of, what I'm saying? I'm not worried about that. Or Miss Gay of USA. I'm not going to worry. And I'm not going to placate to their desires. And Michelle up there, you, she got sued by Madonna back in the 80s. So, girl, I know your tea. Yeah. It's not like I didn't know. I read your books. I read RuPaul's book, Letting It All Hang Out. And I had already started to see the flaws in RuPaul before I got on the show, that he takes from other people and makes it his own, so to speak. He's always been doing that. I don't know, that burnt up a mink coat. Well, I think maybe he might have stole that from Paris's Burning.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting point you brought up about those two. So do you have a relationship in any way with Ru and Michelle now?
Oh, they like me. They like me. I'm one of the, they don't. Michelle likes me a lot, and I like her. I just don't. I'm not gonna play along with her bullshit game. I'm also a Virgo too, but my Scorpio does rise, which you can hear in my song "Soothsayer," which is a nice bop. Came from a Halloween spooktacular, which is out there on Out TV. I believe y'all get Fruit TV, right? Fruit or something in the UK.
Perhaps I've never heard of that particular channel, but perhaps we do.
Okay, I can get it in Ireland or whatever, but different place.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many channels these days.
Mm-hmm. But I have a Halloween spooktacular out there. Check it out. And there's also the Browns. Check those out. They're on Amazon Prime and then on Out TV. And then there's also Tammie Brown, the Christmas special. Yeah.
There's lots of Tammie Brown out there.
There is, because everybody's always hung up on this show, and I'm like, there's so much, and like, there's also the dish that I'm working on, that I work on here in Florida.
That was going to be my next question. So yeah, so you are starring in The Dish, which was created by Adam Barta. So
Yeah,
I
Adam
was
Barta.
wondering if you could talk a little bit about what is The Dish about and what's your part in it?
Hello, everybody. Teletubbies. That's right. Teleport us to Mars. All you lot lizards. All you earthlings. Coming in, coming in.
The Dish is a campy reality show with some campy characters such as Tan Mom and some really lack of better words, some really like Z celebrities. And Mama June is in there, and then and Adam, and these are all cats that are in his bag of tricks, you know what I mean? And he found me. He came to interview me for his podcast, little interview show he does here in Wilkes Manor at the Hamburger Mary's when I was coming to do a show, which I'll be coming back in April here in Florida. And he came and interviewed me, and then he was really into what I was doing and telling me about his TV show, The Dish, and would like for me to be a narrator. And I said, well, okay, sure, whatever. And, I don't really know these people, and I don't want to be run through the mill myself, but sure. And he showed me the money. He pays me to do it. So I'm like, all right, cool, money walks, and I'll do the talking.
No, it's a fun show, and I've seen a few episodes of it. How is the show different to maybe some other shows, some other reality shows?
Well, this one is a lot. This one's a lot. It's raw. It's a lot raw. I don't really have to go do acting. I kind of do my stuff remotely. I was doing it in LA, and then so this next season they're gonna have a next season, and they want me to be a bigger starring role in it, whatever. Good luck. But no, I'm happy to do it. I really appreciate that Adam arranged this interview and to bring me on and likes working with me. So it's different because it's just a little more relaxed. It's a little sillier, it's campier, and it's Adam's dream to create this. So I'm happy to support him, and he's real supportive of me. So
yeah, no, it's a fun show, and I think, and there are a few other Drag Race people as well as yourself, so a few other cameos.
There's Detox in there.
Yeah.
And then we also got, who else is in there? I'm so bad with names.
Stacey Lane Matthews is in it.
Stacey Lane Matthews. Yes. I love Stacey Lane. It's a sweetheart.
And what can people then expect in terms of your part in it? Like what do you bring to the show, I suppose?
Well, right now I'm the narrator and just being my quirky self, and I'm supposed to read or judge these people for their shenanigans. That's what they pretty much do. I mean, that's what I'm doing, is like, oh God, this again, or whatever, so to speak, like that. And he loves it, Adam, and people like that about me. So I just make comments about their shenanigans and how ridiculous they are.
And is there perhaps a highlight of, let's say, the first 3 episodes, because the other ones haven't come out yet, so we don't want spoilers, but is there a highlight from the first couple of episodes?
Oh, the highlight is just that I get to be on there and read those people to filth, so to speak.
All right, and these folks, that's right, asked me to promote their little reality show they put together. Isn't that cute? Fuzzy Wootzer.
But it's fun. I mean, it's fun to sit there and say these ridiculous things about them,
Yeah, it's a really fun show. I've watched the episodes that are out, and it's a really fun show. I really liked it. It's very kind of quirky, a bit like you, and it's kind of, you don't quite understand what's going on as you go through. It's just like sort of kind of crazy, but very entertaining at the same time. So,
and the good thing is it's filmed here in the gold. It's filmed here in Florida, which is a good thing, and I'm happy to support that as well, because of the shenanigans going on here politically with they don't want gay and the racism and all this different stuff that's going on with Ben Santos, this governor they have. He's a psycho fuck. And then of course we have the Trumpster who's also here as well. He's here. So I think it's a good thing to be part of this and show some some help to Florida, being that Florida is one of the most popular, states in the United States of the Americas. Because the 4 most popular states, well, it's California, New York or California. Then, of course, you got Texas, of course, which is another one, which I'm from that one. It's another doozer, which they need an enema. And then they need to step it up. And then also there's Florida, I would say, comes after Texas, probably.
Yeah, Florida's I've been on vacation in Florida, and it's a very interesting place. We were kind of talking about it before we started, but it's very interesting. And I think in the show, it provides a very good backdrop to this story. And like, obviously you have like the sun and nice weather and stuff. So that obviously helps as well. So I think so. Episodes 1 to 3 are currently out on Tubi, and I'll put a link in the description for people. And the rest of the episodes will be coming out, I think, next month or in the near future. So make sure you go and check out The Dish, because it is very, very funny. And I thought you were really good in it as well. I thought you were the perfect narrator for it.
Well, that's thanks to Adam, and I'm happy to help him with more projects, whatever it takes. And it's cool that in this time you can kind of create things on your own, you know what I mean? And create your own studios. You can create your own product, your own content. It's kind of like at the beginning of what Hollywood was, in a way, or film industry, where people were creating their own content, their own studios and everything.
I think the internet as well has really opened up people being able to do stuff remotely, like this interview. Like we're doing it remotely. I'm in London, you're in Florida. So it opens up a whole new world and new possibilities that you wouldn't have had like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. So I'd love to get on to some subscriber questions, if I may. I mentioned before I had lots of questions that came in, like the most I've ever seen. So I've just sort of picked out a couple of the top ones. So one person said, do you feel that because you are from one of the older seasons, that World of Wonder neglects or forgets about you and your castmates in favor of the newer seasons? And how would you like to see that change and see fairer treatment from WoW?
There won't be any changes with WoW. They don't listen to this. They don't listen. They don't care. There's nothing that can be changed. Just got to keep doing your thing. And I'm not worried about them. That's just there's nothing I can do about it. I don't see anything changing, and I don't care, quite frankly. I'm doing my thing. I'm on the crazy train, and we're going to keep going. We're still on the rails.
So the first part of the question, do you feel that older season queens, for like yourself from the earlier seasons, are kind of neglected by WoW?
Well, they are neglected. I mean, that's a thing. I think also too that I might have screwed up with them because of I didn't go to the season 10 reunion. They had a season 10 reunion, but I had to go where the money flows. I went with Trixie Mattel to Australia and performed over there. I opened for her in that show, and now Kelly Mantles is working with her. Kelly Mantles, who's one of my good friends and buddies, and also co-star of my shows and the Browns and all that. She's opening for Trixie and Katya right now. Or working with them in the play, actually, the show that they're doing on the road, which is really cool. And they're just not very nice, and that's just how they are. And I didn't go to that reunion, so maybe they have me on the back burner about that. And then recently, this last minute, they sent me a message to come to the 200th episode. Well, I'm not going to be around to come to the 200th episode. Maybe if you would let us know in advance, sure, I could come to some of your events. But
it's interesting to hear about your relationship with WoW, because I think a lot of the queens usually are quite guarded about that, and they don't want to say anything bad about the show because they're worried about repercussions. So it's refreshing to hear someone talking openly and honestly about their relationship with the company.
I don't have a problem with them. Like back as a kid, when I used to go audition in Hollywood to Dorano Fierce, and that was in the same place there where WoW's at, right there on Hollywood at Cherokee, whatever. It's the street they're on and the building's located in. And I was like, but they were smaller at the time. And I remember going with Jules from Long Beach and other people to this place to audition. I'd be like, this is RuPaul's company, the company RuPaul was always talking about. He would have these shows on RuPaul's. RuPaul had a TV show on VH1 back in the 90s. And there was 3 seasons of it. And it got eliminated, believe it or not. It got eliminated because they were calling it Theron from World of Wonder actually told me that they pulled the plug on the show. VH1 did, because at Viacom, they were calling it the the Black Drag Queen channel. So there was a bit of racism going on, and so they pulled the plug on that show. And he also had another little show after the show called it RuPaul's Jukebox, and it was like a dance songs and different songs he liked, compilations of videos, and he would host this little show. And at the end of each one, he would say, like, wonderful company to work for, World of Wonder. So I knew of World of Wonder, and I was really happy to go work for them, you know, and to be part of that, knowing the history of RuPaul and everything from growing up with it. But they're not they just not, I don't have to worry about the repercussions of them. This is my life. That's their life. If they want me to come and work for them, I'll be more than happy to come work for them. You know what I mean? If they want me to come on another All Stars, that's fine, but I'm not going to come on and be a clothes horse. But I highly doubt that I'll be able to get on there and make another ton of catchphrases.
Well, that was one of the questions that there was the most asked. I'm sure you can imagine. Pretty much everyone wanted to know. They basically said, we love Tammie, like she's our favorite. They wanted to say, like, you're an icon. And one of the questions that kept coming up was, would you go back for another All Stars?
You know, that's fine. I would go. This is the most same. Like when I do DragCon this year, Los Angeles DragCon, I'm going to have a sign said, most asked questions. We're not asking these questions anymore, because that's one that's constantly asked over and over. And, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I'd be more than happy to do it for you, all my audience. But I have other stuff that's out there. So pay attention to the other stuff and help uplift my other stuff so you can see more of me on other shows and I can do my own thing. You know, that's probably the best way to do it, because you can write them a letter or whatever you want to do, but they're not going to do anything about it. Mama Ru don't care.
Well, one of the other questions that kind of we were sort of touching on before was someone said, I believe in my heart and my soul that when you told RuPaul, excuse your mouth, something shifted in the cosmos. I just wanted to thank you for always delivering top tier moments like that one.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You just got to be yourself, toot your own horn, and don't put up with But remember, trust no one, just be nice.
That's true. And someone else said, do you acknowledge, or I guess they kind of saying, like, are you aware of the fact that you paved the way for concept characters and you're responsible for helping make the careers of several fan favorites and other winners possible?
All right, now you're quirky. I love it. People love it. Are you like this 24 hours a day?
I'm a high concept character.
Yes, of course. I mean, that's nice to hear. Thank you. I mean, you just got to be yourself and do your thing. I mean, I am aware that, you know, I do my thing and I'm an originator. I'm blazing trails.
You are.
You know, they broke the mold when they made me.
I think it's very safe to say that there is no one else like Tammie Brown.
Because I am an originator, you know? And
well,
I call... Huh?
Well, no, sorry, carry on.
I consider myself renaissanceal.
What does that mean?
Renaissance and sensual. Renaissanceal. Renaissanceal. You know, I just create my own thing and do my own stuff. You know what I mean? And I do believe it's time for a renaissance period on this planet.
No, it's true. I think you're very different to a lot of other queens, and I think that's amazing that there's representation for all different types of queens, whether you're a conceptual character or not. And I think that's great, and that's one of the things that everyone loves about drag, is that everyone's different and everyone brings something different to the table.
And I am a comedian, you know, like it was unfair for them to say, oh, you're not funny. Yes, I am funny, but the way that they do you on the show and stuff. I mean, that's why Adam got me on the show on #TheDish. That's why I'm on there, because I'm naturally funny. I'm naturally a comedian. It took me a while to acknowledge that I was a comedian. I wanted to just be a drag queen entertainer, but I am a comedian. I'm naturally funny. So, and now, I do the stand-ups in my show and whatnot. You know what I mean?
And speaking of funny, one of the things that obviously one of the big challenges on the show, one of the main challenges on Drag Race is the Snatch Game. Mm-hmm. And you never really got to do a Snatch Game on your seasons. You did like that kind of improv challenge, but not quite the same. Right. So I don't know if you saw, but on one of the more recent seasons, on season 14, Angeria did you as in Snatch Game. I was wondering what you thought about that.
I thought it was great. You know what I mean? She did her best, and I was flattered that she was doing me. I was flattered that she brought me up. That I was my relevancy is great. I'm the queen's queen, so to speak. All the queens like me. The winner of Penelope. The last winner of why can't I say people's names right? Anyways, the one who won the queen Penelope, right? That won last season.
Willow Pill?
Willow Pill. I am not here today. Out too late last night at this Wigwood here. In fact, I'm going to go listen to Lady Bunny spinning some records in a little while. She's here performing. Lady Bunny is one of my favorite queens, all-time favorite queen. But I'm the queen's queen. I was thrilled that Angeria did me, or Angaria, whatever, however you say her name. But you know, she mentioned Tina Turner as well. My love for Tina Turner, Nutbush, and I mean, you know, spot on, so to speak, and brought up all these different things. And she also said that in editing it was done a certain way, and she had those little kooky things going on. So you know, whatever, you know, it makes me feel good. You know, I'm happy, and I'm happy for her. So
no, I mean, I mean, I don't do drag, but like I'm sure most people, when I'm watching Drag Race, I always think, who would I do in Snatch Game? Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying this because you're here, but genuinely, I've always thought I would do Tammie Brown, because I think you've got so many iconic catchphrases. Don't ask me to do it, because I probably wouldn't do it justice. But I would have done kind of what Angeria did with like the hand movements, and I would have, you know, done the walking children in nature. And I think you've just got such a quirky sense of humor and personality, and you're so well known within Drag Race. And also, it's clearly obvious that RuPaul finds you hysterical. So I think it would work well as a Snatch Game character.
Sweet. You never know.
Who knows? So, and someone else asked, who are your biggest inspirations? And if you could meet anyone, alive or dead, fictional or non-fictional, who would it be?
Well, I always, like I've said before, I've always wanted to meet Tina Turner, but now she's retired, so I had to settle for the Barbie doll.
Tina Turner is also great, so that's if you have to meet someone, Tina Turner would be a great choice.
Now, who are your influences?
My influences, first of all, started with Tina Turner.
Uh-huh.
You like Tina Turner? Because I like her too. She has long legs and nice weeks. And I really like that, and I aspire for that high life condition. That's what got me moving in drag, was Tina Turner.
Oh, yeah. Hello. She's such an inspiration. I mean, and what a person, and just a cool person is. And I practice the Buddhism as well. You know, for 22 years now, I've been chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and I recommend it to anybody who needs some meditation or some practice. It does work. It's good therapy. And it does change your perspective on life and things. And the environment. It brings your highest self out. And I really like that about her. And I love her aesthetic. I love her simplicity of aesthetic too. It's all her. And she was never given the credit due that as what a beautiful woman she actually was. A beautiful woman, a commercially beautiful, aesthetically model face, you know, was never really given that, especially here in the United States as much, around the world so much. And the only thing that she ever got was the Hanes commercial, so much for that. But
no, I mean, Tina's an incredible artist. Like, she's amazing singer, like you said, very pretty, incredible like dancer, performer, super talented, had this amazing backstory and like this horrible history, you know, obviously with the relationship and everything, but she's turned that into a positive, and she is a huge icon, inspiration. So I can see why you would choose her.
But even that, not even just that, nothing to do even with her the backstory, but also how hard she had to work as well and through the career, and her positive attitude through the career, even when it wasn't going so well, but she kept working. What was else to do? But I was working, at least, you know what I mean? So that's the positive. And I just love the aesthetic, the wigs, simplicity. And then back in the day, she had allergies to makeup, so that if you look back, all she's wearing is lashes. She didn't really wear anything besides lashes, maybe some, not even any gloss or anything, because she had an allergy to makeup, but that was her beautiful face. And she's not piled up with jewelry or anything, you know.
Yeah, no, she's incredibly talented. So, and I also had a question from someone called Adam Barta, And he said, what do you think that Mama Ru would make of the dish?
Oh, I don't care what Mama Ru would do. How about that for you, Adam?
Well, thank you so much. I'd love to get on to my quick fire round of questions.
Okay, sounds
So it's
good.
5 quick questions. Some of them are drag related, some of them are not. So it's just sort of like top of your mind, first thing that comes to your head. So, lipstick or lip gloss?
Lipstick.
Yes or no, pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
Favorite emoji?
Well, my Tammie Brown emojis. I also like the heart emoji. I'm really glad they made a human heart.
Cocktail or champagne?
Champagne, crisp champagne, French champagne only, honey.
And can you summarize your experience on Drag Race in one word and summarize your experience on the dish in one word?
Wonderful.
Wonderful for both?
Just a jubilee. Jubilee for the dish. Wonderful for RuPaul's Drag Race. Oh, Mama Ru, I love you.
Well, thank you so much, Tammie. It's been absolutely wonderful speaking to you. You are one of my favorites, always has been. I'm sure other people feel the same way. Where can people find you if they want to hear more about you or learn more about you, like social media and any projects you've got coming up?
Well, I have a website, Planet Tammie, and then we also have my YouTube channel. It's Tammie Brown. We have the albums. I'm available on all musical platforms. We also have I'm on many TV shows. I have The Browns, The Dish. You can find me on The Dish. Check out hashtag The Dish, please. That's why we're here. That's for Adam. So anyways, and then The Dish and many other platforms. I have a TikTok, Planet Tammie. I have my website, Planet Tammie. I have the Instagram, Planet Tammie. I don't know what's going on with the algorithms, though, on Instagram anymore. And I also have a Facebook fan page. Facebook. And recently I willingly got hacked. I got scammed. They hijacked my page, but I got it back now, so we're back. But because we built it up to 440,000 followers, which we built it up, which is a good number, whatever. It's not a competition, but happy to have it. And Jose Guzman Colon helps me with that, the well-known photographer.
Well, I'm sure I'll put all the links and everything up on screen in the description, because I'm sure everyone will want to go and follow you if they're not following you already, because I've been following you for a long time and I love all your, like, it's so kooky and so interesting. So I'm sure people will be subscribing to that and pushing your numbers up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. And I really hope that we see more of Tammie Brown. Well, we definitely will, but maybe on an All Stars and almost certainly on The Dish. So thank you so much.
Top notch.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.